Well, good evening, everyone, and we are so excited that you're able to join us tonight for our encore presentation of the third annual Reclaiming Voices Survivor Art Show. And hello again to those who we saw in person at the exhibit earlier today, and welcome to those who are not able to attend the show in person. We so appreciate you taking this time to be with us tonight. Now, this show seeks to give a voice to the long-silenced survivors of sexual abuse, exploitation, or trafficking. A safe space where they can reclaim their voices by sharing their stories and experiences through creative expression. We hope that this event will promote healing, empower survivors, encourage understanding, inspire action in the community. The work of both professional and aspiring artists, as well as anonymous submissions, will be shared with us tonight. Well, we invite you to not just sit back and relax, but to sit up, lean in, and engage. Be immersed in these stories of strength and courage. Hear the heart behind these amazing survivors. Now, our first piece tonight comes from Vicky, and here's what Vicky had to say. At 5.5, I shared what happened to me to a trusted adult. I was told, "You're a bad girl, and don't you ever say anything like that ever again." So when others touched me and abused me, I never said a word. Until 17 years into my marriage, the repressed memories began surfacing. And even in the darkness of abuse, God's stars of hope are shining. God's light in truth dispels the darkness of my abuse. Here's Vicky's piece, followed by a couple others.
I am just a little girl, and I just want to be loved. I am a part of a good family, but my parents don't know what happens in the dark. It feels wrong, but I love him, and I don't want him to be mad at me. So I do what he asks, and no one knows what happens in the dark. I am a woman, and I am not afraid of the dark, mostly. I asked God for help, and he gave it. I am loved. I am his. I am no longer afraid. I am forgiven and I forgive. I am free. I am hopeful. I am healed.
Our next piece of the evening comes from Mary Ann, and this is what Mary Ann had to say. This playful encounter with Jesus marked the beginning of a 10-year journey of healing, reclaiming the delight of being a child of God. Now God is blessing me with the gift of launching a ministry to help others restore childlike wonder and faith that I have named All His Kids, because of course, we are all kids to God.
As I settled down to pray in my room at a retreat center, I replayed in my mind the lyrics I had been singing along with the radio on my hour drive there. I felt frustrated and confused. why were there so many songs describing the tenderness and comfort of being held by God. I sang the words, but I knew I didn't share the experience. Were they just nice-sounding words? Or were there people who knew God's embrace as more than just a singable metaphor? I worried that maybe Jesus didn't want to hold me. I took a risk and prayed. Jesus, I want this to be real for me, but I have no idea how. If I can't physically hear or touch you, how can I know what it feels like for you to hold me? A scene popped into my mind. A mother sea otter nestling her pup. I sensed Jesus inviting me to imagine myself in the place of that little pup. I felt the mother otter's paws wrap snug around me, the steady rhythm of her heartbeat, and the gentle rocking waves soothed my ruffled emotions. I heard her soft cooing close to my ears and the noisy calls of seagulls overhead. I tasted the tangy saltiness of the breeze. I felt sheltered and a new sense of belonging. Was this furry embrace the answer to my prayer? Jesus, is this how it feels to be held by you? It's one way, my child. It's a good way, Jesus. I like it. Thank you for this gift. God engaged my imagination to open a door to a tangible experience of His love holding me close in His heart. I felt His tenderness towards me and a new sense of belonging.
I want you to know that even when we think there's no way, it turns out that there is a way. When we think that we're alone, we're not, because God is with us. Sometimes we feel worthless and think that God must not care about people like us. That's not so either. We are His precious children, and He loves us more than we could ever understand. Sometimes I look back over my life and I pray, thank you, Lord, because you have made me and then molded me into what you want. Thank you for giving me the strength I needed to go through all the things the devil used to try to destroy me.
Honestly, the thought of entering the show made me tremble, and I have so wrestled with it. To allow people to peer in and ponder what happened to her. But then I remember sitting in my college bedroom and hearing from God. If you give it to me, I will count any suffering you have experienced, even that which occurred before you knew me, as suffering on my behalf. And 25 plus years later, I intimately understand that He turns ashes into beauty.
Our hope and prayer through this evening is that you're able to grasp and see beyond the two-dimensional paintings or works of art and be able to see, feel, and express the true heartfelt journey that these artists have gone on. To be able to celebrate and hope with these survivors. So we have a few more pieces to come. A couple of oil paintings that were sent in by an anonymous source. Take a moment, look deeply at them, and engage with the heart of this artist.
Love throughout the seasons. Through each season, we weather diverse conditions that test our character and refine our essence. We strive daily to rid ourselves of impurities and gravitate instead in the direction of traits that make us better. Hence, through each season, there exists a time to lose, a time to gain, a time to hate and a time to love, a time to weep and a time to laugh. The seasons recur year after year. When each year ends, we know that a new one filled with different opportunities and challenges is about to begin. As each season flows into the next, so too do our lives pass through seasons. We are born with a newness mirroring spring. We pass away with a somberness like that of winter. Our summer and autumn are the epiphany and culmination of all our daily lives, through seasons of sorrow and joy, pain and pleas. When we are open to growth, we become seasoned as the seasons progress. Have you witnessed God's love throughout the seasons? How are you experiencing God's love in each of your chronological, circumstantial, and calendar seasons?
This year, for the first time in nearly 20 years in history, Sexual Assault Awareness Month was observed solely in online spaces. My friend and I decided to dedicate survivors of sexual violence with a photo shoot for those who have suffered through a traumatic phase. What hurts me more was that my sister was involved, but she wanted to participate. We asked individuals, all genders, in our community who are survivors or who are going through it that have been holding on to it for so long to share their stories. Their story will help many more. We wanted them to speak their truth out. What's said needs to be said.
Our next artist is Lizzie, and this is what Lizzie had to say. I've always used art as a therapeutic release to relive the pain and suffering of my addiction and sexual trauma. Art reminds me that I am a survivor and I'm not defined by my pain. Amen to that, Lizzie. We stand with you in that truth. Here are Lizzie's words.
I have always used art as a therapeutic release to relieve the pain and suffering of addiction and sexual trauma. Art reminds me that I am a survivor and I am not defined by my pain. Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities. Remember, you make a difference. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me. Irma Bombeck. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. Don't be afraid of change because it is leading you to a new beginning. Joyce Meyer.
My story is quite long, so I will shorten it for this purpose. I was sexually assaulted at age 6, and I don't remember much about it. It was, unfortunately, just the beginning. From ages 12 to 17, my stepbrother sexually assaulted me whenever I would go and visit my father. In 2018, I finally came forward about it on my half-sister's birthday, and it was terrifying because I didn't want her to succumb to the same fate as I. Present day, my father has stopped talking to me because he doesn't believe me. He has cut off all communication I had with my sister who is now 12 this year. It has been 2 years since I came forward, and I don't regret it.
As we start to wrap up this evening, our next few pieces of work come to us from Cherish House. For those who do not know, Cherish House is the only safe house in the state of Illinois for minor victims of sex trafficking. It serves girls ages 10 to 17 in a long-term, trauma-informed treatment facility that provides a loving and safe environment. The residents receive support by experienced staff as they heal and gain the skills they need to live a life beyond exploitation. So open your heart, open your eyes, and engage with these next few pieces of work.
Anxious. Anxious is purple. Anxious is listening to a newly taught trumpeter playing in a worldwide famous jazz band. Working through Anxious is closing your eyes and remembering to breathe in the cool spring air. Watching Anxious rush away with each breath. Anxious is everything that doesn't need to be. A way of making you feel uncalm. I am anxious.
This photo montage shows the pain and suffering that I'd endured while being trafficked. The abuse, suffering, loneliness, manipulation, and all the nights I cried myself to sleep, not knowing who I was as a person anymore. My trafficking began like any other domino effect. Things just kept happening throughout my life that led to something horrific occurring. Being trafficked. Alba was supposed to be my mother. Come to find out, I was just someone else she could take advantage of. This woman took advantage of the most vulnerable part of me, the longing to have that deep mother-daughter connection. She promised so many things that I dreamt of: bonding, love, affection, family, and a mother. Instead of being that mother figure that I could run to crying, she became the person I feared the most. Her manipulation cut so deep, it left scars like never before. So many lies. I was told, this is the last trick, I promise, I'll never hurt you, the pain will go away, just take this pill. I didn't realize everything she said was to manipulate me and tear me down until I met CM. She and the rest of Reclaim 13 are what helped me truly heal and know what a real family is. That family doesn't have to be blood, rather it's the people who you make it out to be. Family is the people who love and care for you unconditionally, even through your flaws. People who you feel most safe with to cry on and laugh with, those you can be yourself with without being judged or torn down. Reclaim is what taught me how a family is and how a family should be. That you don't have to be sold and bought for love and affection. But the most important thing they've helped me discover is myself. That I'm a kind, gentle, beautiful, stubborn sometimes, but very strong young lady who has a voice that cannot be kept quiet. This voice has a name: Emily. Reclaim 13 is and will forever be my family.
We just witnessed one brave survivor's journey out of the bonds of trafficking. From the beginning images of being silenced and imprisoned in exploitation, to the start of her healing journey at Cherish House, to finding forever community at Reclaim 13, and ultimately embracing freedom and breaking the chains of trafficking in this final image. This is what Reclaim 13 does. We provide a safe space for survivors to heal, discover hope, find community, and embrace a future free from fear and exploitation. We hope that you enjoyed this encore presentation of the 3rd annual Reclaiming Voices Survivor Art Show. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to honor the voices of these survivors of sexual exploitation, trafficking, and abuse. We're so incredibly grateful for your support. To view this entire collection of all the pieces of artwork, some which were not seen here this evening, please visit our website at reclaimingvoices.org. Thank you all for tuning in and have a great night.